Well, the nation has been reacting to the news of GBM being found guilty of corruption, jailed for 5 years with hard labor. So different sections of society have been weighing in, giving their 2 cents. So this is reported by the news diggers with the same headline. You see this headline, pretty much all the newspapers today are carrying the same headline. And different politicians have been weighing and giving their 2 cents. One of them is Sampa. So he shared some pictures from the past. This should have been taken from 2016, the elections. This was at the time when Sampa got dribbled pretty much easily. Got dribbled by Edgar Lungu's camp, where he wanted to be PF president, and he was endorsed by Guy Scott at the time, who was the acting president, should have been for a while, right before he handed over the instruments of power. And he was forced to form a political party. Mao Sampa ended up forming a political party, should have been MPF or something of that nature, which is non-existent at the moment. But yeah, you can see Mao Sampa on the far right, neighbors Mumba, and then GBM, and you see Hakainde Hichilema at the far left there. So he had shared these pictures from the past, and then I'll show you the caption that he had put up. But this was during the run in the 2016 elections, thereabout. So they made some sort of political, then these things were called political pacts, which are now referred to as political alliances. At the time, GBM, you see there in the red sweater, was the UPND vice president to President Hakainde Hichilema there. You see Mao Sampa on the far right there, and then Nebas Mumba right next to GBM there. So these are images that were shared by Mao Sampa with a caption to say "picture no sound." I mean, picture no sound moment. So most sections of society are calling for President Hakainde Hichilema to pardon GBM. The Zambia is likely to celebrate its 60th independence celebration on the 24th of October this month. So people are saying GBM should be added to that list. So that's part of those images that you see there coming from Mao Sampa, picture no sound, saying, I mean, GBM was very central to the UPND penetrating the northern region. So, I mean, if the president is in with the capacity, why not pardon GBM? So that's the conversation. But Zim was having a feud day with Zambia. So as you may know, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi were one nation at some point. Should have been Northern Rhodesia, Southern, yeah, you know those odd names. But Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi were one nation at some point. So there's always that gist that goes on back and forth between Zambia and Zimbabwe. So recently, amongst the things that are happening in the nation, Zimbabwe has been having a feud day with Zambia. A number of politicians from Zimbabwe have been making a number of political statements. So one of the individuals should have been, this is just a normal citizen. There is a fuel crisis in Zambia. Things are not well next door. One of the biggest tragedies of trying to put lipstick on a pig is that you make your own suffer what is trying to be a scent to the world. Hakainde Hichilema has failed Zambians. So alleges that should be Linda, I can pronounce that, shown a name there. You can see it on screen, which was shared by Emmanuel Mwamba. So Emmanuel Mwamba says Zimbos are mocking us. So he says Zimbabwe has been under international sanctions for 20 years. And despite the harsh economic isolation and severe drought, continues to register economic growth, and its GDP has just overtaken Zambia. So in Zambia, we have power cuts, water cuts, fuel shortage, and population facing hunger and severe cost of living crisis. We have never been at war, and we have never suffered sanctions, yet suffer outcomes of the same. So he says the conditions in Zimbabwe are way better than in Zambia, but we are facing the same conditions, and then it's even worse because they are under sanctions. And then it goes further to say, this is still Emmanuel Moore. Stanbic economic analysis reports has discussed that the private sector continues to suffer and rapid decline the last 4 years. No wonder Zimbabweans are taking turns laughing at us, because 4 years ago, Zambians elected President Hichilema. It hasn't been 4 years there yet, but anyway, he says 4 years ago. It's just been 3 years. And so he says, 4 years ago, Zambia's elected president, Hichilema, who touted himself as an economic manager, and says it is probably reminds them of an economic elitist banker and qualified Gideon Ginayo, the former governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, serving from 2003 to 2013, who sank the currency from $1 Zim to $1 trillion dollars. So $1 was worth 1 trillion Zim dollars at a time. So it's saying qualified and competent, but unable to deliver. So that's a thing that's going on in Zimbabwe. But I hope politicians keep this gist as just because Zambians and Zimbabweans have that what we call banter and jokes against each other. And we joke up at each other who owns the Victoria Falls, the source, and stuff like that. So if it's just kept at that, it's so good. But if they take it political, because I've been seeing a number of videos coming from Zimbabwe where they're literally shooting at President Hakainde Hichilema. And this is coming from the official ZANU-PF, which is the ruling party in Zimbabwe. So I do not know how that sits well. In as much as you want to joke around, it's just a matter of time when the other party takes it literally. And Zimbabwe and Zambia cannot afford to be at conflict, or what's the word? Like they cannot be enemies. Pretty much, we have too much in common. Too many borders in common with Zimbabwe and Zambia. So I hope this is just kept as one of those things that we jab at each other and joke and gist, not the route that these politicians are trying to take it, because some of the statements that have been coming from the ruling party in Zimbabwe towards the president of Zambia and the UPND, it's just a matter of time that the other party might also overreact. We hope not. But yeah, that's what's going on. And then Munia Zulu, as always, weighs in on other national issues. He says no water equals new dawn, no electricity equals new dawn, no fuel equals new dawn, no money equals new dawn there. So Mulumezi, member of parliament, very active out here. What is breaking news? Drug Enforcement Commission rearrests Lusaka businessman Shadrach Kasanda for alleged theft of $5 million for his Egyptian gold client, named in there, and is currently being questioned by the law enforcement officers. Yo, this guy, goodness me. And then someone says, in the comment section, MK says, maybe it's insufficient justice system. Sometimes repeated arrest indicates a systematic failure, but because this guy has been arrested over this issue for I don't know how many times now. But yeah, that's the current state of affairs. He's been rearrested. I'll keep you posted if anything comes of that. Whilst George Mutonga from the US, Zambian citizen, says the best way to show Zambian people that UPND leaders are clean is to volunteer themselves for investigations and to be cleared by the Anti-Corruption Commission. You do that once a year and get certificate of clearance. A standard law would also be nice. That says that all members of parliament and cabinet leaders will be randomly investigated by the Anti-Corruption Commission and Zambia Revenue Authority to make sure that they are not corrupt and are paying the correct amount of taxes. I know every one of you here will support this idea. Why wouldn't you? Anyone against this idea is either corrupt or doesn't pay their fair share of taxes. So he puts up a point there to say, let's do that. I don't know how the rest of the nation will react. We had so many days. He says Zambia to grant approval in principle for electricity generation water harvesting project. That's what's going on there. But it's Real Times reporting about GBM being jailed. This has been in the news for a while. Daily Mail, GBM jailed for 5 years. And Daily Nation say, I got frustrated. Hichilema say he's there with some details there in the Daily Nation. Zambia ran out of fuel. Let the country not be cheated. We have nothing left in stock, sources. So this is in the mass newspaper. So Zambia has no fuel, they allege there. That's the news, ladies and gentlemen. Keep you posted if anything else comes up.